Yo, what's up everyone? Happy New Year's. I wasn't expecting any more chapters to drop, but here we are. The Shiunji Family Children, chapter 63. Let's just hop straight into it. This chapter was very dialogue heavy, just based on what we got off the last chapter, and of course it would be because of what just went down. Basically, the Shiunji family children, their whole secret of them being adopted got exposed, and kind of the whole world is up in arms. So because of that, there's a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue, a lot of chatter just within the streets of this chapter. I'm not gonna go too deep into like the exact conversations. I'll put a few panels up on screen, but essentially it's just like mixed emotions, right? It's just confusion in the air. But besides all of this chapter is pretty straightforward. Basically, the actual story contents of this chapter starts with Kotono, and she's just walking to school, right? And as she's walking, she is a little embarrassed, right? She doesn't want to be seen by her classmates. This is when Oka comes up next to her and kind of protects her. I think this is a good thing for the series. We are seeing that the sisters are still acting familial towards each other. It's not just strictly like, oh, you're my competition in love. I mean, this could be due to a lot of things, but right now, the main focus of Oka's actions here, I would say, is just because she's kind of feeling the same way. They are in this situation together, their secret got spilled, and the siblings are just there for each other. We do cut back into the past a little bit, where this information is kind of getting leaked to the public on a broadcast. Oka is obviously mad, she's a little pissed off. To be honest, this is just kind of showing us the magnitude of the situation, just giving us context on how big this whole issue is. We do get the siblings discussing like the cars loitering around their property, which is just kind of showing us how much pull the Shiunji family has, at least in Japan, and how prominent of a figurehead their dad is and their company is. And yeah, the conversation does start to drift towards like, how did this even get leaked in the first place? Why is this happening now? This was supposed to be a really confidential secret, and somehow it just exploded. For Seiha, it doesn't seem like she's too concerned about her actual safety. She's more concerned on how rumors are getting spread, and that may diminish their father's company that he's worked so hard on creating. But yeah, as they're worrying, sooner or later their dad goes and texts them, and his message is, I will be returning to Japan tomorrow. Don't worry about the company. Right now, our priority is to ensure all of your safety and to prevent any actions which make you stand out. This does make me think that the situation that they're in may be a little bit more complicated than it seems, at least from first read. But as we progress through the chapter, we see what the reason is for this happening somewhat, but we still don't exactly know the severity of what's going on. And after all the siblings read this message from their dad, we do get a panel of Arata and Bonry looking a little concerned. Why is this? This is because Bonry's whole arc and kind of development in the last few chapters that we got specifically for her were focused on her confessing her love towards Arata. And I don't know if it's her love that sprouted because of the whole situation that she was in with Kyou-chan, but basically, if you don't know the rundown, she was in a kind of toxic relationship, and Arata went and stepped in and kind of saved the day. Kyou-chan just didn't have the same moral compass that she does. He really doesn't care about little kids, he just cares about his own success. And Bonry is really for the children, right? She has this like motherly kind of personality, and I believe she does work at like a children's hospital or like a daycare, but she's like a child worker or whatever it is, but basically she works with little kids, right? And I just remember during this time when we were dealing with her character and her chaotic love life, Kyou-chan was like kind of abusing these little kids when they were out on these dates and shopping around. And Arata, yeah, he just stepped in and kind of beat up Kyou-chan a little bit. And I think in this situation right now, Arata and Bonry are both thinking the same thing. All of the family secrets most likely got leaked by Kyou-chan. If you go back to the whole Bonry arc, you can kind of see that Kyou-chan was a very possessive boyfriend. He always took Bonry's phone, and he was just very manipulative, very controlling. And yeah, with the culmination of all of these things, we're now led to the present, right? Where Bonry is apologizing to Arata, saying, I'm sorry, this is all my fault. But this is where Arata says, in that case, it's also my fault. He was the one who stepped in and kind of escalated everything to another level. But even though he says that it is also his fault, he says he would do the same thing again and again, just reconfirming that he cares for his siblings, he wants to protect them, he doesn't want them to be in bad situationships, and that's his first and foremost priority, which is really good for Arata's character in this moment and going forward with the series. to be honest with you, of the last few recent chapters, I've been getting the feeling that maybe Arata is kind of folding under pressure a little bit, and he might just end up with one of the girls, even though, I mean, that's probably what's gonna happen, but I feel like it's a little too early on into the story for him to be succumbing to lust or like just making stupid, irrational decisions when his whole kind of vendetta, I don't know if that's the right word, but like his whole image or outwardly portraying image is that, hey, I am not going to get together with any of my sisters because that's weird. I grew up with them. And yeah, this kind of moment that we're getting with Bonry is showing that side of him where he's like being more of a leading or commanding figure in place of their father who's not really around. After this whole emotional scene with Bonry goes down, Arata's just in his room and he gets a call from his dad. And his dad's just kind of asking, hey, is everything fine over there? And Arata's response to him is kind of just saying, hey, I'm the one who let our family secret out. All of this kind of happened because of me. And he's saying it was to protect Bonry, but he just couldn't watch her in the situation before. It's basically exactly how I put Arata was acting. He basically just goes and tells this to his dad. And then he ends it with, he doesn't mean to trouble the company. And he's really sorry about what's happening because they're like a super rich family and this is almost like a little scandal. But their dad does give a very interesting response, in my opinion, right? He just laughs it off, really. He's saying, oh yeah, there's no way that my company is just gonna get completely ruined because of this whole situation. And then he goes and says that from the very beginning, he was planning on taking responsibility for whatever happens because of this whole situation that he kind of put himself into with adopting all of these children. And then he goes and says that he is proud of Arata, right? He's proud that he's grown into such a fine man and that no matter what happens, he's a man that can take charge of anything. His last parting words to Arata are, trust in yourself and keep moving forward because you are Arata. It's a decently long conversation that they're having with each other, but that's kind of the gist of it. During this time, Arata is thinking about, I need to make a decision. I need to either choose none of the girls or choose one of them. And I have to confront their feelings honestly and earnestly. And I think Arata's dad, his father, is just trying to give him a little bit more confidence in that no matter what decision he picks, no matter what he does in the future, it's gonna be fine. There is a lot of pressure put on him as he is kind of the hero of this company, this family. He is the one their father is relying on to pass down everything to. Will that happen in actuality? I'm not too sure. I do see a world where Shion could inherit the company, as I feel like that would honestly make the series a little bit more well-rounded. Like, I wouldn't say immediately, but I could see that as like an in-game option. But at this point in time, Arata is kind of the big brother. He is almost the father figure of the family, and his father is just trying to instill that confidence in him. And yeah, that's kind of the end of that. But yeah, right after this, we jump to the next day where Kotono is walking home or to school. It's not too clear what's happening, but regardless of that, it looks like she's being tailed by like a stalker or something. And yeah, she seems very uncomfortable in the situation. It's like a creep is just following her. She's trying to ignore him as best as she can, but eventually he goes and starts yelling at her, saying, hey, you're ignoring me. Surely your parents taught you better than that. And yeah, she is just it's a weird thing. It literally looks like she's being stalked right now. But eventually the guy he's like, well, whatever. And then he goes and says, if you're headed home, then do me a favor. Pass on a message to the residents of the house. The real father of Minami and Shiunji has arrived. And that is the end of the chapter. As we know, all of the siblings are adopted except for Arata, but it turned out that Minami and Shion are like blood related, right? None of the other siblings are blood related. And during one of the mini arcs, I forgot exactly where it was. I think it was Kobe. They were thinking about meeting their family members. To be honest, I would have to go back and check, but I think at least Shion did go and meet the family. Maybe not. I could be completely wrong about that. But regardless, it looks like their real family is here. But yeah, I mean, dude, I don't even know what to say. This chapter, or this whole situation, just came as a huge surprise. The Shiunji family has kind of had this very sporadic plot development, which is very entertaining to see and to watch, or like to go through, right? It's just super unpredictable on what's gonna happen. Like, this whole situation just spiraled off of one panel in the last chapter, but as we can see, there was some buildup because of what Kyou-chan doing his whole thing, and now his revenge is now coming to fruition. But honestly, I didn't think anything significant like that was gonna happen this early on. But yeah, predictions for the next chapter, like, bro, we could go anywhere. I think the most likely thing here is that Minami and Shion's family, they want to be protective of this whole like scandal that just got out, and they might try and take Shion and Minami back as their kind of way of protecting their birth children. That is a pretty major possibility. I would assume probably the most likely situation to happen. And of course, we're gonna have to go at some point and confront Kyou-chan. Maybe Arata beats him up again, or maybe this is kind of where we get the conclusion of Oka's fantasy of Bonry being the most independent maiden, or whatever you want to call it, because Oka is like idolizing Bonry on how her relationship is just so good, and maybe that's where we get a break of that. Maybe we'll get a fall from grace of Bonry's character towards the other children, and this could be a point in the series where we get her actual confession to put her in the running as competition for Arata with the other girls, right? Because at this point in time, Bonry is the only girl who has not confessed her feelings towards the other family members, right? At this point in time, they think, oh, she's just like the mother figure, right? She is just independent, she has her own relationship, but little do they know there's so much drama behind that. I think that is kind of what's going to come about in the next few chapters. We're just gonna get a breakdown of her character, and I think this is where we're gonna start to see the series start to pick up some speed. So far, it has really just been a lot of introductions, a lot of, okay, who likes who, trying to understand each and every one of the characters, their motivations, their backstories, their traumas, their concerns, and all that type of stuff. But I think we're finally getting to the point where the series can start to spread its wings. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. This chapter just kind of sprung out of nowhere, and I feel like I just talked a lot. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, any takes on like what went down this chapter, or what you think is going to happen in the future, definitely let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, also like this video and subscribe if you want to see more of the Shiunji family or any of the other content that I post. But yeah, that's really about it, so I'll see y'all.